Hi there. I hope everyone's doing well today. I just wanted to take a few minutes to thank everybody out there for the amazing support that you've all been sending. As most of you have heard by now that are connected with me on Facebook, I've had two transitions in my family in the last month. We um, we said farewell to my grandma Helen on February 21st, and then on March 13th, my mom transitioned unexpectedly. Certainly, what we call death is never really expected, even when someone's going slowly. But my mom's transition was sudden and very unexpected. She was not sick, so we are all just going through the normal human grieving that happens, and this has really raised a lot of um, wonderful, interesting questions from many of you, which is how I deal with death. I do a lot of grief counseling with people, especially teenagers and young children who have lost a family member. Part of that, of course, is just allowing them to reconnect with the person who's transitioned because, as you all know, my experience is that there is no death, that there is a transition from physical to non-physical, and that we very much are eternal beings that carry on. So, what I try to do in those grieving sessions or grief counseling is allow the person to reconnect with their transitioned loved one. It's a really beautiful exercise because it really is about me getting completely out of the way and letting that transition loved one come through in smells and feelings and tastes and touches. Um, and just really affirming to the person sitting with me that they're still very much around. For myself, intuitive stuff is often blocked, and I think it's a gift. I've heard other people say that are quote unquote psychic. Again, that label really it doesn't sit well with me, but it's one that people use. Often say the same thing I say, which is they don't get the same type of connection for themselves or those they're closest to. I really do feel that this is a gift. If I went through this experience and everyone in my life I could intuitively read or pick up things on may not feel very comfortable. So, this has been interesting for me because I've done a lot of grief counseling for other people, and for the first time, I'm doing it for myself with close family members. I've had a lot of transitions around me, but not of my own close family members. So, to have two really close together within a month it's pretty impactful, and it's pretty interesting to see what the human reaction is and what the spiritual reaction is. I share everything with you guys. I'm very much in a state of not caring what people think. There's no person sitting here going, well, I'm worried how they'll react to me saying that, or I'm worried of how they'll respond to me saying that. Certainly, I have that experience on occasion, but right now I just really feel the need to be very raw with my sharings and not try to candy coat them. The first couple of days after my mom's transition are just blank to me. I was in shock. Again, she was not sick, and so she went in for feeling not so good, kind of fluish, and within an hour she was dead. So there was no preparation for this, and I'm sure many have had that experience, whether it was a sudden car accident or whatever. The soul leaves at the time is intended, and those around them have an agreement for this to happen. And even though what I was shown was there is a record keeper for each soul family that comes to the souls before the transitions happen to remind us, okay, this is what's coming, Kelly. We know you won't remember this, but we're preparing you at the soul level that the woman who signed up to be play the role of your mother is going to be leaving, and all of the agreements that the two of you have been fulfilled, and it is time. And there's kind of that whole process isn't a good word, but there's kind of a whole process that happens. And so that would have happened for me as well. Do I have any memory of that? Absolutely not. Do I trust that it happened? I do, because it was something that I was shown when I had my near death experience. When mom transitioned, I was not part of that experience at all. Several have asked, did she come to you right away, all of that stuff. I will say that the first night she transitioned, I had a really bad toothache. Um, in addition to that, the first night that she transitioned, I woke up feeling like someone was kind of rubbing my face. And when I went to bed that night, I had my son sleep in my room because I just wanted to be close to him that night. But he's too wiggly to sleep in my bed, so I always pull an air mattress in and he sleeps on the floor next to me. I just needed to hear him that night, just feel close to him. So he was in the room with me, and I didn't sleep much at all, and actually was sitting propped upright with my iPhone on my chest as I guess I was preparing in case I got any phone calls that night. And I fell asleep that way, and I about 3 a.m. woke up and I felt like someone was kind of tickling my face, and I thought it was my son trying to wake me up gently to tell me to get in the covers and go to sleep properly. So I kind of just half asleep, kind of just did one of these things to tell him to leave me alone, and there was nobody there. And it continued, the tickling sensation continued, and I finally opened my eyes and nobody was there. And I know it was my mom. I know I smelled her. When I was younger, she used to wear Oscar de la Renta perfume, and it was really strong, but I loved it. And whenever I smelled that scent, I knew it was her, and that scent filled my room. So, I just continue to share these experiences so that you out there recognize that this is a very real thing. This death thing that we tie to and we fear, is something to be let go if possible. I know we don't control our thoughts; they just come, but we do have an opportunity to see them as something that isn't real. The thought arises, I'm going to die, and then immediately behind that I ask, is that thought true? And immediately I'm shown no. There is no death, we're eternal. And what Mom is doing, even though I'm not getting the clear communication I would get with someone else for myself, is just tons of beautiful affirmations. I smell her, I feel her. She's created all these amazing synchronicities. For my sister who's in Virginia Beach packing her stuff now, linking my sister with people at the right time, in the right place, in the right moment to have the perfect conversations, and it's all beautiful. So even in this thing we call death, there is beauty. There is tremendous beauty if we see it, if we're open to it. And I believe all of these things always happened for me before this experience, but I just wasn't in tune enough to feel them or see them. So again, there's nothing special about this person called Kelly. I am very much like you. I just really allow myself to be with what's arising and try to stay in the now moment as much as possible. Yes, grief happens at the human level. There's many tears. You can see from my eyes, there's just significant amount of tears, and the mind wants to go back through every painful experience you had with that person, and it wants to try and go through the should've, would've, could've stories. It wants to say that shouldn't have happened, and that I wish I had done this differently, and I wish I had called her that day, and I wish I had gone to visit her at Christmas, and all the stuff the mind wants to do. Yet none of that is me. And if I get in the mind trap and start looking at all the shoulda, woulda, couldas, I will make myself crazy. I choose not to be insane. I make a conscious choice not to be insane. Yet I also am aware that if it's arising, if the emotion of sadness is arising, I'm going to let that be here. If the emotion of anger is arising, I'm going to let it be here. Any resistance to what's happening or arguing with reality is insanity. My mom is fine. She never left anywhere. She didn't leave. She didn't die. She didn't end. It's not over. The physical part of her that this human form longs to touch and hold and feel again isn't here. But she didn't go anywhere. That's what I hold on to. So I hope that this helps some of you out there who have reached out with personal questions about this experience for me. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you and everything you've shared. I know I have a lot of comments to get caught up on and a lot of emails to get caught up on, and I appreciate your patience while I do this. Send tremendous hugs and love to each one of you as you watch this wherever you are. Until next time, take care.